So here's a short story about a young guy who abruptly stopped seeing a gal that he'd been on a few dates with when she mentions that she is a single MOM. When they got together, when they were getting acquainted, she left that part out and made sure that she was extra charming and fun to be around, probably hooked up with him a couple times, who knows. And then when he was starting to get invested in her, like her, then she mentions, oh, by the way, I got a 3-year-old. And believe me, she's not that old. And this guy handles things right by doing what he wanted to do, and he ended it with her, because simply he's just not ready for that or anything like that. And to no surprise, wait for it, he's getting some backlash from the girl he used to date, mutual friend, that type of thing. And let me go over here, guys, as a reminder that as a guy, you are allowed to have a choice. Choices. And if you don't want to date a woman, for whatever reason it is, don't let anybody tell you that you're the devil because of your decisions. Because we all know darn well that a lot of women out there will break up with the guy, not even date a guy, for some of the most petty, superficial things known to man. And if a guy doesn't want to get involved with a woman who has a small child or any child, because he knows darn well that kid in one form or another is going to in fact impact his relationship with his mother, that in all sorts of things, there's all sorts of negative stereotypes out there, which a lot are true. Even if she's a pretty good girl, still that kid's going to get in the way. That's okay. There's no problem there, so don't fall for this. And of course, the whole meltdown thing, that's also pretty funny too. Titled, Am I the a-hole for telling a gal I won't date her because she's a single MOM? And shout out to Ash for sending me this short story. He says, I, a 24-year-old male, recently met this incredible girl named Sarah, a 23-year-old female, through a mutual friend. From the jump, we clicked on so many levels, as she's hilarious, smart, and we share a lot of interest. So far, so good. I'm sure she's good looking too. After a few great dates, I thought we might really have something special. A couple weeks ago, Sarah sat me down and shared something important. She has a 3-year-old son. Notice that she waited until he started getting invested in her. I'm sure they probably hooked up at least once at this point. Bunch of dates. Why didn't she mention this in the beginning? I'll tell you why. Because probably lots of guys have said, nope, not happening. And she saw this guy and figured, oh, here we go. This guy will be a provider. Let's be honest here. She bait and switched him. Not cool. She had him when she was young, and the father isn't involved at all. There's a freaking surprise. Chatter Tyrone that knocked her up when she's 23, the kid's 3, so obviously gave birth when she was like 20, give or take. Probably got pregnant at 19. Of course, the Chad and Tyrone baby daddy's out of the picture. Now she can get a substitute baby daddy to watch the kid, help pay for things. You know it's going to happen. She told me she has a solid support system and manages everything well, but honestly, I was caught off guard. I hadn't even considered the possibility she might be a mom. Because she hid it from you, dude. She deliberately went out of her way to hide it. Absolutely. I mean, did you go over to her apartment or house? You know, probably didn't see any toys there or anything like that, unless you always met her out or something like that. Yeah, she was tricking you. It took a few days to think it over, and I realized I'm just not ready for that kind of responsibility. It's not that I have anything against her or her son. I'm still figuring out my life. I knew I had to be honest with her, so we met up for coffee. So he's going to try to do the approach by trying to be kind and civil and explain to her, telling the truth, why he doesn't want to see her anymore, but try to be a good guy about it. And as you know the saying, no good deed goes unpunished. So I told her, as gently as I could, that while I still think she's amazing, I don't think I'm ready to be involved with someone who has a kid. I explained that it's more about where I am in my own life and less about her and her son. She seemed to understand. Yeah, sure. But I could tell she was hurt and disappointed. You don't need to be so nice, because remember, she deliberately hid this from you. Then you're allowed to make a choice. Later on, our mutual friend told me that Sarah felt really judged and hurt by my decision. If she wants to feel judged by it, that's her own business. I mean, at the end of the day, it takes two to tango. She was a willing participant in the event that led to her having a child at 20 years old. She said it was unfair to dismiss her just because she's a single mom, and that I should have given her more of a chance. To the mutual friend here, fuck off. It's none of your business. And now let's take a moment, guys, to review why would a guy not want to get involved with a single MOM? Even if she actually is very cool, has her shit together, all that. Because one way or another, that kid, who is her top priority, fair enough, because it is a responsibility, especially if the dad's on the picture, that he's always going to get in the way. One way or another. If this guy's a date planned on a Friday night and the kid gets sick, whoosh, date's canceled the last minute. Of course she'll take care of her kid, but still, that's an inconvenience to a guy. Okay? Or, guaranteed, pretty soon, it's come on over, have a play date. We can all hang out and the kid's there and play and get along. Or how about the fact that, that kid can pull some crap like, the mom could be cool, you're not my real dad, and doesn't want to listen to him. Or she says, nope, you can't tell him what to do, that type of thing. Or pushing and nudging to try to have him be an active role as the kid's future daddy. Or trying to get this guy to pay for things for the kid. You know where I'm coming from this, because there's a lot of women out there that are single MOMs that would never give the type of guy they're dating the time of day prior to them having a kid, but now they're looking for a provider. And they want a guy to help raise the kid, pay for the kid, all that. And guys, you don't need that. Now, I said before, not everyone is like this, but even the good ones will have some qualities on the lower scale, or the kid can be a pain in the ass. So you just don't need that. Date a gal that is no kids, no attachments, that type of thing. Because you know what? There's plenty of other guys out there that will fall for this. And I've done countless stories about guys that have been the white knight and got burned badly. There you go. It's my little update in this situation. Why not to do that? Anyway, he says, now I'm feeling very conflicted. On the one hand, I believe it's better to be upfront about my feelings rather than leading her on. But on the other hand, I hate the idea that I might have to make her feel bad about something she can't control. Again, it took two to tango. She was an active participant, what led her having a kid and being pregnant at 19 years old. Don't feel bad. She didn't feel bad about leading you on. She didn't feel bad about not mentioning the kid while she was trying to rope you in, right? And you were kind about it. So you weren't a jerk about it. You say, I can't believe you got pregnant at 19 and stuff. No, you didn't do any of that stuff. So too bad. Let her be upset. Fuck her. So Reddit. Am I the a-hole for telling Sarah I won't date her because she's a single mom? No, dude. I went through that whole thing, so I'll need to do it again. And guess what? The whole comment section is full of people saying, no, you're not. And I'm going to read a few of those, including one from a woman. One guy says here, I did someone with kids, and it's not something I want to repeat. OP did the right thing, and anyone tries to guilt him back to dating this woman as being immature, short-sighted, and manipulative. Another one. Not the a-hole. You have your own reasons, and you explain it to her that it's about where you are in life and not because of her. But I guess all she heard was her own voice telling her herself that you were judging her because she's a single MOM. It's not just being a single MOM. Being in a relationship with her may bring a responsibility of being a stepfather in the future. And from what you said, it sounds like she already had high expectations of you. She needs to respect your decision too. And you cannot control how she feels. Do not feel bad about it. End of story. But he's obviously, I don't know if he's a nice guy, but he's a nicer guy. A nice guy would have kept seeing her. But he's a nicer guy that he still feels bad. Don't feel bad. She didn't feel bad about not mentioning that to you and roping you in. And the last one, and this is from a woman, mind you. She says, not the a-hole. I did online dating as a divorced single MOM of 2. My husband left me. I was very honest and upfront on my profile about being divorced and having 2 kids, because my boys were my world and my future partner needed to be a good fit for us as a whole. It was dishonest and pretty bizarre, in my opinion, that she wasn't upfront about being a mother. If you're not comfortable with being a stepfather, then you're not a good match. You shouldn't feel guilty about being honest about that. So I like how she criticized that woman, saying she should have been upfront about that, right? So good for this lady for saying that. She says, I also wanted to add, it was worse for me when guys told me they were okay with me being a single MOM and dating me longer, knowing they were really uncomfortable with it. I can respect honesty. Okay, well, good for her for saying this. And I like how she called that girl out, saying she should have told you right away. So there you go, guys. I don't blame this guy at all, and he did the right thing. You got to take care of yourself because nobody else is going to do it. And don't ever feel bad, gentlemen, if somebody gives you a hard time for breaking up with a gal for whatever reason. It's your business, your life. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself being unhappy.